Good morning. I'm late. I don't. We don't need the criticisms. I know I'm late. No, I'm late. We had a lot of tech issues going on this morning. Couldn't hear me. I don't know why. Couldn't see me. I don't know why. But we're here now. We don't need the lecture. We was late. We was a little late. We was a little late, but it's cool because court doesn't start till when? 10? So we got time. How are we feeling? How are you feeling? Good morning. Here comes drama. Good morning, Lexi. Good morning, Helena. Good morning, Hank's Tattletale. Good morning, Ellie. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we feeling? Are we all just, do we all have a little pep in our step? Good morning, Kayoka. Do we all just, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Ordinary you, don't be nervous. You know what? I was on a cloud, and then here comes ordinary you and Karen pulling down my mood, because now I was trying to pretend I wasn't nervous, but now that y'all put it in air, I'm a little nervous. I'm not nervous because I think she's guilty at all. I'm not nervous because I think they might have proved she's guilty. I'm nervous because of where she's on trial at. There's absolutely no, if this judge was an actual judge, but we all know who we're dealing with. If this judge was an actual judge, she would dismiss this case on their motion for dismissal. There is, I feel like, and there are smarter lawyers than me. I feel like there is no way a reasonable juror could find her guilty beyond every reasonable doubt. That would mean you're saying that the case the defense put on, is not even reasonable. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous to me. I feel like if this judge was an actual judge, she would dismiss this case because no reasonable person could find her guilty beyond each and every reasonable and moral and ethical doubt. It's just not possible. The way the defense put on this case, I feel like they can come out and say, told y'all. I feel like if Alan Jackson want to get on the news and be like, next time y'all need to shut up because we got this, I'd be okay. I would take my licking. I take my licking and keep on kicking, because I was very annoyed that they didn't call Proctor. But I see that they went another route this time. They laid little eggs and little droplings of police corruption, but they decided to lean into the science. Amazing. Amazing. Round of applause. Round of applause. And poor little Hanky Spanky. Poor little Hanky Spanky. What did I tell you yesterday? When he gets in trouble, when he feels like he's not winning this argument, what does he do? He goes down a line of questioning that discredits his own witnesses. It's very weird. It's very strange. How are you asking Dr. Rechler about, well, if you don't know where he was hit and you don't know where his position was and you don't know, why are you saying that? Do you know what side you're on? Why are you letting the jury know that you have none of this information? What? What? And hold on a minute. Hold on 1 minute, because for some reason I thought Dr. Rechler was the demure one, was the mindful one, was the quiet one. I think it's because of the voir dire that they did with Hank Brennan. It was mainly Dr. Wolf they questioned. They spent the most time with Dr. Wolf. So I just, in my head, I put it that, oh, Rechler is just like, he's just like the demure one. He's just like the science guy. Dr. Rechler said, I'll whoop your ass, dog. I loved every minute of it. He was not playing with Hank Brennan. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing because I feel like Rensler was like, "Who are you talking to? I'm a grown ass man, dog. You're not gonna speak to me that way. What you're saying doesn't make sense, and I'm gonna tell you every chance I get." I don't know why I thought he was like the soft spoken one. I don't know why. I don't know where I got that idea. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dr. Rensler. I don't know why I put you in that box. I, you know what, Hedgehog in space? I still think he might be a double agent. The way I feel like Hank Brennan threw this case, double agent is not off the table. Because there's no way. There's no way. Thank you. Here comes Trauma Gifted a membership. If you got a membership, make sure you say thank you. Double agent is not off the table. Okay. Because it feels like he threw this case yesterday. It feels like he knew that he was not going to call a rebuttal, and he let the jury know, wink, wink, we don't got nothing. We don't know nothing about nothing. Double agent is not off the table. It's not off the table. I'll tell you right now. It's not off the table. Dr. Rensler was not playing with Hank Brennan. Listen, the way the defense put on this case this time, chef's kiss. You had witness after witness after witness after witness say either there was no collision, there's no proof of no collision, or I didn't see a body, that light didn't look like that. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If they had an actual judge, I don't believe. You know what? They don't have an actual judge. They got Kim Jong-un up there. So honestly, you guys, and again, smarter lawyers than me will have to fact check this. If by some miracle Karen Reed is convicted, I can see an appeals court saying there's no way. Like I could see an appeals court saying there's no way a reasonable jury could find this guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know. That's just my feeling. That's just my feeling. The way that if not that, there should definitely be prosecutorial misconduct on the part of Hank Brennan. The comments that she let him get away with, and I'm with Alan Jackson. I'm standing up. I'm yelling every time now. I'm not letting him get away with nothing. I'm not letting him get away with nothing. This man just keeps on with the comments, and you're just saying, no comments. That's the last comment. Not any more comments. Did anybody do their research investigation? What's the relationship? What's the relationship? Somebody tell me. You're not ever going to make me believe there's not a relationship between Hank Brennan and Kim Jong-un up there. You're just not going to make me believe it. Somebody get on their zone. I need you to deep dive, because there is something going on. The way because it's not even about whether or not she's prosecution leaning. It's not even about whether or not she thinks Karen Reed is guilty. He's making you look like a terrible judge at this point. He's making you look like you don't have control over your courtroom at this point. Why are you allowing him to do that? Whether you're on his side or not. Whether you're on his side or not, why would you ever make him let your courtroom look like you don't have no control over it? Something is going on. Something is going on. And now y'all not doing a rebuttal. I bet I know why. I bet I know why. Y'all didn't want Dr. Rensler to get up there and then they'd be like, hey, remember you said they don't have no x-rays? But can we talk about that for a minute? Can we talk about that for a minute? Have they always had the x-rays? Where did the x-rays come from? And if they had x-rays, why didn't they confront them with it at the time? Now, that might have been strategic, but it was a big blow to them at the time. And I feel like it would have been like, oh, no, you didn't get the x-rays? Because here they are. I don't think it was strategic. I think it happened to work out. But I don't think it was strategic. I told y'all when it happened, I didn't think Alessi handled that cross well. I don't think Alessi handled that cross well, and I think Alessi was on a track that he had to get through, and I don't think he pivots well. So I think he was getting through his questions, and he didn't even think to confront him with the X-rays. I don't think it was strategic. I think it worked out. Now that I could be wrong, I think it worked out, but I think Alessi doesn't pivot off of his linear line of questioning. But I know Alessi couldn't wait to get to him this time. This time. Team Wicked Smart, they might have, they could have been saving it for rebuttal. But I don't know. But you know what? It could have all been strategic. Because I think that's the biggest reason that Hank Brennan is not doing a rebuttal. I think he knows that ARCA made Dr. Rentschler's test look ridiculous, like we all thought from the beginning. If you have any common sense, you thought Dr. Rentschler's test was ridiculous. If anybody's on that jury thought that was a test to prove anything, I want to talk to him. I want to have a small conversation. I thought that test was ridiculous from the moment I saw it, and I couldn't stand science. Okay, when I went and got my degree at Eastern Michigan University, I tried to get out of every science class I almost had. Okay, I tried to pick something else. What's closest where I don't have to hear nothing about no geometry, no physics, no nothing. So I don't know nothing about no science. However, I know when I saw that test, I was like, this seems ridiculous. You didn't have to be a scientist to tell me that. Okay. But the fact that he didn't have no X-rays, I think was the biggest reason he's not putting on a rebuttal. Welcher, what I've been saying. I do mean Welcher. What I've been saying. I feel like I've been saying Welcher. I don't know. But yes, they were going to be like, remember you said, can you tell us it? So our expert said that you shoved your arm into that. Is that not what you did? Did you measure? Because we were talking to our expert, he said you didn't measure anything about where the scratches would be. It seems like the scratches are going in 4 different directions. Did you figure that out? Okay. Did you ever actually break the tail light? Because we only paid our experts $50,000 and you were paid $400,000. We need to know what you did with that money. Okay, because it looks like you painted the back of a Lexus that you bought in Texas and shipped to California. And now we're trying to figure out what cost $300,000. If I was Hank Brennan, well, Hank Brennan don't give a damn because he's getting paid. If I was Norfolk County, I had me a lawsuit in the morning against Aperture because what did you spend that money on? Why did we pay you that much? We need to know. We need to know. You didn't even buy multiple taillights so that you could break them. We need to know. You didn't even cool the tail light down like the ARCA guys did. I mean, $300,000. I'm gonna need to see some. Listen, I damn near need to see some ass shaking for $300,000. All you did was buy this man's outfit. Was it a Louis Vuitton? Because where is the 300? We have questions. We just all have questions. Where is the $300,000? How much is a Lexus running these days? I don't know. I just got simple little Jeep. How much do a Lexus cost? Is it 150? Because I need answers. Y'all were paid $100,000 and we're not even calling you back. We're not even calling you back because you're so terrible. We're afraid you're going to get turned every which way. Let's step loose around here. We can see that the jury is going to be looking at you like, sir, what you got to say? Sir, what you about to say? I'm feeling good about the way that the defense put on this case. I don't see a way to guilty. I'm simply not seeing it, because every argument whoever in that jury box has for guilty, there's 7 others for not guilty. I think Hank Brennan in his closing is going to hammer home the microscopic pieces in the sweater. And that's not even good enough, because we don't know where that sweater was, who it was with, how it was handled, who put it in the bag, what is in the bag with. We don't know where the tail light pieces were. Like, that's not even a good enough. Like, he harped, that's every time he brought up somebody who said there wasn't a collision, that was his thing. Did you see these little pieces? Do you know they were scraped out of the hoodie? Where was that hoodie? We have a picture of it balled up on the floor. Then he said he took it and laid it on another floor. Then we don't know who picked it up and put it in what bag. Like, that's not even good. He's going to play 40 minutes of clips. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Magnolia. And who cares? And who cares? Who cares? First of all, I think it's a travesty of justice that they only have an hour and maybe 15 minutes when there has been 8 weeks of testimony. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's reversible error. 8 weeks of testimony you want me to cram into an hour? That seems absolutely insane to me. I've never seen somebody limit cross-examination that much. On an 8-week trial, it should at least be 2 hours if you're going to limit me at all. We're here all day. We're here all day. Give me the morning, give him the afternoon, if that's what I want. The prosecution does get always last closing because they have the burden. They have the burden. But I wonder if he has to split it up. Do we got to do 30 and 30? Because what he going to do with that? What is he going to do with that? An hour for 8 weeks seems atrocious. How many witnesses did we have? 40? 30 something? I would spend 5 minutes on every witness and why they're dumb or why you should believe them. And you really only need 2 for every prosecution witness. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the lies every single one of their witnesses told, and why you know it's a lie, and why it don't make no sense. And then I'll spend 30 minutes on every one of their witnesses and why they lied. And then I'd spend 30 minutes on the science and why it doesn't make sense. I mean, if they only get an hour, geniality, they should get it by lunchtime. If they only get an hour, then the closing argument should be done by what, 11? She should read the jury instructions. That usually takes an hour, maybe. Is she not giving the missing instruction? Did she rule on that? I need to know, because I should be able to say, why didn't they call their lead investigator? Why haven't you heard from anybody in that home? Why haven't you heard from the homeowners? I should be able to say that. I should be able to say that. You need to ask yourself why you don't know everybody who was in that house. Where's the lead investigator? They didn't want to call the lead investigator. Of course she won't. Because did y'all notice how pissy she was yesterday? It seemed like she was aggravated at how good of a day the defense had the day before. Like, she was so pissy. She was sustaining every single objection against Alan Jackson. It's like she felt like they had too good of a day. We have to stop them in their tracks. I need somebody to do some real deep dive. I need somebody to go jump in her trash, because there is something going on. There's something going on. It's not just prosecution leaning. It's like she's in this case too. It's like she's an extra prosecutor. Like, when they were arguing at the end of the day about whether or not the shirt had been admitted into evidence. Why are you mad? I just want to know, because you said you were going to do it and then you never did it. Why are you mad at me? It's like she's in this, and that's so crazy to me. I need somebody to tell me what's going on, because it's something going on. It's something going on. I left my cup downstairs. I'll be right back, guys. Don't leave. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just talking. I never came back. All right, I'm back. I need somebody to hop in Bev's trash can. Peep through the windows. I need something. Something is going on, and it's more than prosecution leaning. It's more than that. She's the way when Alessi speaks, it's like she acts like it makes her skin crawl. It's more than I'm just a prosecution leaning witness. It's more than I just think Karen is guilty. It's more than that. Now I need somebody to do some real life investigative journalism. Find out the connection. I can't wait. Where's the FBI when you need them? Where's the FBI when you need them? That's what they should be investigating. The way the thing is, she doesn't even try to hide it, because trying to hide it a little bit would to actually be reprimanding Hank Brennan when he has all these comments over and over and over again. Because like I said yesterday, even Judge Glanville would cuss Attorney Love out when she needed it. And we know how biased he was. But he would tell her to cool her fucking jets every once in a while. She won't say anything to him, especially not in open court. I don't know what happens at sidebar, but she won't say anything to him in front of the jury. Meanwhile, she says everything to Alan Jackson in front of the jury. And including, we can come to sidebar. This won't take that long. What you're insinuating to the jury is that this is Alan Jackson's fault. I don't really want to take him to sidebar. I know y'all don't like sidebars, but I'm going to speed him up. That's not how that works. If I ask you for a sidebar, it's because I'm doing my job for my client. Meanwhile, I ain't never heard you say nothing about Hank Brennan calling for sidebar. And the reason they took all day sitting in the back room was because Hank Brennan decided to file motions a day before the witness came on the stand. It's his fault, but you never hold him accountable. I still can't believe that they didn't ask her to actually strike the questions and the answers about that sweatshirt. Because that one little sentence, not enough. But if I was Alan Jackson, that'll definitely be part of my closing. Remember when he tried to get up in front of you and try to make you believe and try to ask our witness, ask him whether or not those look like road rash holes when he knew that the crime lab cut him? I would make sure they know, because she didn't. She didn't make sure they know. Like, it's more than just being a prosecution leaning judge. There's something deeper happening. Ain't So Plain Jane gifted a membership. If you got the membership, make sure you say thank you. Thank you, Ain't So Plain Jane. It's more than that. Something else is going on. These defense attorneys and Karen Reed have had to fight an uphill battle. And when I say they are at the mountaintop, looking down, because there is no logical way. If she's guilty on even a lesser charge, I'm going to say, I want to talk to the jury, and I want to know who convinced y'all. Which one was fighting the hardest? Because that's the plan. That's the plan. And then I want the investigative journalists to go dig in their background. Because this is only going to be one. And whichever juror is fighting the hardest, that's the one. That's the plan. Go figure out when last time he got paid. Go figure out when the last time he got paid. Because the fix was in. There is no way to guilty. There is no way to guilty. And I know there are people who don't understand this concept, right? I know there are people who don't understand this concept. There are people who will still be like, but she hit him. But she hit him. She absolutely hit him. Awesome. Amazing. There's still no way to guilty. There's no way to guilty. Ordinary use a new member. There's no way to guilty. There's no way to guilty. And I'll say that 100 times. Lally knew about the x-rays. They all knew about the x-rays. I'm just wondering whether or not it was strategic on the part of the defense to not mention the x-rays with Welcher, or if that was just a slip of a lessee because he's not really able to pivot, or was it strategic and we're not even going to bring it up with you. We're going to let you sit up there all smug in your response of there were no x-rays, just to ask our experts, hey, did you look at the x-rays? Either way works. I mean, either way is fine. Whether strategic or not, it worked out. Because now you have Ranchler, who, baby, Ranchler is not to be played with, okay? Happy birthday, Kai. Ranchler's not to be played with. First of all, I don't think Ranchler like how Hank Brennan was talking to him, because you don't have to speak to me like that. I keep saying that these are professionals. These people went to school just as long as you did. They are experts in their field, and you don't need to speak to them like that to answer, to question them, or to impeach them, or do whatever you want to do. You do not have to speak to grown people like that. That's number one. So I think Ranchler was offended by that. I think Ranchler was offended by Welcher. That's what I think he was mostly offended about, because the same way I'm offended as an attorney by Hank Brennan. Don't give us a bad name like this. Do not give us a bad name like this. You're the reason people hate lawyers, and I don't want people to look at me and associate me any kind of way with you. I think Ranchler was so offended by Welcher in his experiment and calling himself a doctor that he just had to keep saying it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. He didn't do anything. He only did the one test. He didn't measure anything. He didn't test anything. I think he was so offended by Welcher. And then here you come questioning me about this man's stupid report. And you know Hank Brennan thought he had him when he said, did you read any of the sources he cited? Ranchler was like, I read all of them. What you got to say now? Because you know he love it. Point me to a study. We're going to call him Hank, point me to a study Brennan. He thought he had him. He thought he had him wrapped around his finger with that. And Ranchler was like, yeah, I read all of them. But he only cited the one. Huh? What's next? Next question. Next question. I think he was so offended by them. Because I think he like, I don't want nobody thinking I do what you do. If somebody meets you first and then they come up to Dr. Ranchler and be like, oh yeah, I know a biomechanic engineer, he's gonna be like, I don't know that man. I think he was so offended by him. And then here come Brennan questioning me about his stupid report. Exactly, Team Wicked Smart. If it wasn't a reenactment, then it's pointless. That's why double agent is not off the table, y'all. Hank Brennan being a double agent is not off the table. Because what do you mean? What are you asking? How do you know it was meant to be a reenactment? Well, I'll tell you. He's wearing the man's clothes. Okay, he's behind the vehicle with the glass in his hand because he saw a glass in the grass. If that's not a reenactment, you tell me what it is. Of course he does, Sandra. I've been saying that since the beginning. Hank thinks these jurors are absolutely dumb, not foolish. He don't think they're foolish. He thinks they're quite stupid. I'm going stupid because stupid seems worse than dumb. He thinks these jurors are quite stupid. Because Do you think it's a serve? I watched the video of this man in this other man's clothes, standing behind a car, making sure his arm hits the same spot. If that's not a reenactment, what is it? What is it? And then Brennan bringing up planted evidence. Exactly. Double agent's not off the table because the defense has not been that heavy-handed in their theory of he planted evidence. They've not been that heavy-handed to straight up say it. I don't know. Double agent's not off the table. Double agent is not off the table. Every single doctor besides Walter, anybody with doctor up front of their name, medical or otherwise, besides Walter, have said there's no evidence of a collision. That's your case. That's your case. Unless you're going to get up and argue something completely different than you've been trying to prove this entire time. That's another thing with Hank Brennan. How are you up there arguing scenarios? That's not what a prosecutor should do. You should not be up there saying, well, could this have happened? Or could this have happened? Well, what about this? Could this have happened? No, baby. I know you used to defense work, but no, baby, that's not your job, okay? You have to come with a very clear theory of the case. Yeah, okay. Did nobody tell you that? Did nobody tell you that you can't be fluid? Here comes drama. You can't be fluid on what happened. You got to be very stern. Did nobody tell you that? I'm gonna hold your hand when I say it. Okay? You can't do that. If you don't know what happened, you shouldn't be trying anybody for the crime. It's just my thought. It's just my thoughts. If you don't know what happened, I don't know how we're here. But go off though. What is he going to argue in closing? Let's talk about it. All he's going to say is the car went backwards at 24 miles an hour, but we really have not gotten to when or where. I don't think nobody's ever proven that was in front of 34 Fairview. I don't know that. He's going to talk about how John's phone stopped at a certain time and then the temperature went down. Is he going to bring up the temperature? I don't think he can bring up the temperature because the one cell phone expert, can't remember his name, said that he put it in the freezer, the temperature drops significantly faster. So I don't know if he's going to bring up that, but Brennan likes to add facts and bolster his testimony, so he might. Let's say, okay, so he's going to talk about that. Then he's going to talk about the broken pieces of taillight, which and then he's going to talk about I'm lost. That's all I got. That's all I got. I ain't got no more. I don't know what the man's gonna say. I'm out. I don't know what else he's gonna talk about. He's gonna talk about I hit him. Is he gonna talk about that? Because I feel like the defense wouldn't even bring it up. But if he says I hit him, they're just gonna be like, you heard from Dr. Russell, who's worked in many of emergency rooms, who told you people in distress say crazy things. And who are the people that told you I hit him? Let's talk about it. Jen McCabe, liar. McLaughlin, liar. Nuttall, liar. Liar who can't even remember anything. McLaughlin told you he was in the truck. He told you he was on the grass. McLaughlin said she told her the cop heard it. Well, why they didn't call the cop to tell us he heard it? I'll tell you why. Because he ain't heard it. I mean, I don't know what the man's gonna do. I don't know what the man's gonna do. The man's gonna and then it's like, I wonder what, more than what he's gonna say, I wonder what his demeanor is gonna be. Because he's been on the defense case for the last couple days, and he's been a consistent asshole. Consistently been an asshole. So for you to walk up in front of them with a completely changed demeanor, it's going to be like whiplash. And I don't think that's a good strategy. You've been the epitome of an asshole. You've been aggressive. You've been condescending. That's all we've seen of you for the last couple of days. And then you're going to get up in front of us and be a little church mouse? I don't think that's going to work. It's going to, the stark contrast of it will bring it forth that, oh, even if they didn't think you were being an asshole before, the stark contrast of your demeanor when you try to close, it's going to be like, oh, you was being a real asshole. Where does this nice guy attitude come from? Now you know how to calm down. It's something funny. Exactly. Listen, I'm telling you, these people are way more professional than I'll ever be. It's something funny. Yeah, your face right now. Your face after I said she didn't hit him. That was hilarious to me. It's something funny. Yeah. You. You and how frustrated you're getting. It's hilarious. Hilarious. I wonder if they're going to fix the jury forms this time. Now that they've have actual proof from a juror who said they didn't understand that they could pick one charge over the other. I know Kim Jong-un is going to act like she never heard that. Vladimir Putin's going to sit up there like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's fine. When we have a juror that said we didn't realize that we could do one at a time. We didn't realize we could do these charges separately. That means you need to be very clear. And I've never seen a jury form without a not guilty box. I've never seen that before. That seems like reversible error to me as well. And even Yannetti was like, never seen, I don't know what you're talking about. Never seen it, don't know what you're talking about. Because as a layperson, you would feel like, okay, so they're saying we have to choose one of these. You would. I can see that. And that's not even somebody not being smart. I could see just a regular person who doesn't have anything to do with law, doesn't know anything about anything, to be like, okay, so not guilty is not here, so we got to choose one. I could see that. And why would you ever confuse them that way? Why would you ever confuse them that way? It's all on purpose. It's all on purpose. But I'm confident in this case this time. I'm more confident than I was last time. Because the science speaks for itself. The fact that we were able to get deeper into ARCA, because we weren't, remember, they were still working for the feds last time they testified. So we weren't able to get all this information out. They weren't able to do these extra testing. Their extra tests were amazing. He's going to harp on her drinking, but everybody was drunk. Everybody was drunk. And that's another reason why I feel like they should have called Proctor to get those text messages in, to let them know that even the cops be drunk around this bitch. Even the cops be so drunk, they leave their gun and badge. Everybody drunk. Everybody's drunk. But that's why they called the woman to be like, well, she didn't seem drunk to me. She seemed fine. And I was speaking to her, and all I had was water. And you know, a sober person can tell a drunk person right away. No matter how much the drunk person tries to act like they're not drunk. If you're completely sober, no matter how a drunk person tries to act like they're not drunk, you can tell. So for her to say, she looks completely fine to me. The only reason they know she's drunk or she was drunk is because Karen said so, which is why I wish Karen would have never said anything. But what's done is done. What's done is done. We're here now. And I think the defense has so much better fodder for closing. So much better fodder for closing. And I wonder how Hank Brennan is going to do his closing. I'm sure he's going to do half and half because they always like to come back after the defense has said something. But it's like, what do you have to say? What do you actually have to say? What could you actually say right now? When all I have to say is every single doctor, anybody with a doctor in front of their name, besides the Blue Man Group, every other doctor, and wait, even that doctor, wait a minute, even that doctor told you there's no proof of a collision. He said he don't know when, he don't know at what speed, he don't know where. Even that doctor, every single person with doctor in front of their name has told you there's no proof of a collision. Every single one. And you got common sense. You think a tail light can make those scratches going at 24 miles an hour and only poke small little holes in the hoodie on the one arm? Come on now. Come on now. It just doesn't make sense. The prosecution usually goes first, then the defense goes, and then the prosecution has a rebuttal. But they're the last ones to speak. Unless they're going to do 1 hour, like they're not going to split it up, then I don't know how they would do it. Maybe the defense will go first and the prosecution gets the last word. So if they decide we just want to put our whole hour together, then they'll go last. Not a bruise. And I love when Dr. Rancher was like, that wasn't a bruise. Why are you trying to call it a bruise? That wasn't a bruise. And do you see how slick Hank is when he's like, did you see when they tried to pull, when she said glass or plastic? Ain't nobody said nothing about no plastic, and you know it. And you know it. And she was gonna let him answer that. She was gonna let him answer that. And that's how I know there's more going on. There's more going on than prosecution leaning, because even prosecution leaning judges follow the law. Had to talk to the kiddos. Even prosecution leaning judges follow the law. They may, like, if something's in their discretion, of course they're going to lean that way. But she was going to let him answer that question, even though she knows that's not in evidence. Or do you not know? Do you not care? Whatever Hank Brennan says, you just go with. Nobody ever said that was plastic. And I love that he said, no matter what it was, you think it turned a corner? You think it came out and flipped? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm thinking, I'm trying to see what I have to do at work. I want to see what I have to do at work on Friday, because I think I might stream live the closing. I don't know. I think I might stream live the closing. That might be a members only live. I'm gonna check my schedule at work, because I want you guys to see my reaction to what Hank Brennan is gonna say. I think I'm gonna fall out of my chair. But I think that might be a members only live. We might do a live streaming of the closing, because I want to know what he's gonna say. I have so I have so many questions to how he's going to weasel this together. And I bet you it's going to be hyperbole. I bet you he's going to misstate evidence. I bet you he's going to give shit more weight than it needs. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And I can't wait for her to be like, it's fine. And the thing is, I may team up with AV. Stephanie, that might be, let me text AV. That might be a good thing to do. Jackie gifted 5 memberships. So thanks, say thank you to Jackie. He's definitely gonna tell lies. He's definitely gonna tell lies. And you really don't like to object to people's closing because it makes you look like, sometimes it makes you look like you just don't want the jury to hear what they're saying. But in Hank Brennan's case, I wouldn't give a shit what the jury thinks, because I'm not about to let you just lie. And he has been known to lie. There has not been a trial I've watched, well, YSL is the standard, where I've heard a lawyer say something and I didn't just automatically believe them. Defense or prosecutor, I would just believe them, because I just wouldn't expect lawyers to misstate things the way that Miss Love and Hank Brennan would misstate things all the time. It just makes lawyers look bad. And the fact that these are the prosecutors make lawyers look worse, because it makes it feel like, oh, y'all don't really care about the justice of it all. Y'all want to win. Y'all might need to be on the other side of this thing, because as a prosecutor, they teach you in that class, it's not about winning. It's about justice. These 2 lawyers, Attorney Love and Hank Brennan, absolutely about winning. And that is scary. That's scary. It's scary. And Hank Brennan is even more scary because he don't got to be there in the morning when that verdict come down. He don't got to be there no more. So that means he doing what he want. He having his way. He don't have to answer to nobody. He get his check and he on about his business. He's scarier. That's why he don't care how he's behaving in that courtroom. Because guess what? I don't got to be here that long. I don't got to be here that long. And she's letting him. You don't care how this makes your courtroom look? It looks like you don't have no control over nothing, like this man is running it. This is Hank Brennan's courtroom. The Honorable Hank Brennan running around here. Because you let him do what he wants. And he doesn't care because he ain't got to practice here no more. I ain't ever got to see none of you hoes again. Win or lose, I get my $250 and I'm out. And I'm out. Off to ruin somebody else's day. I'm out off to ruin somebody else's life. I really want to know how he's going to put this closing together, because I don't see what evidence he has to fill an hour. To fill an hour worth of time. And everything he says as a point of guilt. I know Alan Jackson is going to be over there. Okay, make sure I say that. All right, make sure I say that. All right, make sure I say that. Because every point of guilt has a counterpoint. Every single one. Which is why I don't think, if this was an actual judge with actual morals and actual scruples and was actually looking at the evidence, I could see a granting. I mean, it's very rare, but I could see a granting in this case specifically. This case specifically, I could see a case where the judge says, you know what? There is so much reasonable doubt here that no reasonable person could find her guilty. Somebody could find her guilty. They're just not reasonable. Someone could find her guilty. They just decide they're not listening to anything. But there's so much reasonable doubt here. And if not, I can see an appellate court saying that judge should have dismissed this case. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. I worry about manslaughter. I don't. I don't, because there's no proof of a collision. And that's what they're trying to prove. Now, if Hank Brennan gets up there and changes his complete theory about what he's been trying to prove for 8 weeks and says some shit like, oh, did she back up and he stumbled backwards? But that's not what you've been trying to prove for 8 weeks. You can't just change the theory. You can't just change the theory because you feel like it. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And if he does, as the defense attorney, I'd be like, hold up. Hold up. He can't just change what he's been trying to prove. What are you talking about? That's reasonable doubt right there. That's not even what they told you they was going to prove in they opening. They need to, that's new, because we proved that didn't happen. Now they're changing. We proved so much and so hard that collision didn't happen. They've changed their whole testimony. They've changed everything they thought. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't worry about manslaughter. I worry about a plant in the jury. That's what I worry about. Because that's the only way I see a guilty verdict. I see a plant in the jury, somebody who's very forceful, somebody who can take control of a room, and somebody who can bring people to their side, regardless if they believe it or not. Most people, especially jurors, they're trying to go home. They're trying to get out of there. And if you have a big enough personality, they will move over to your side. I worry about a plant on the jury. That's all I'm worried about, because no reasonable juror could find guilty in this case. I don't worry about lesser included unless there's a specific plant on the jury. I'm telling you, if this jury is either hung, or if she's not hung jury or acquitted, I want to talk to the juror who had the most to say, because that's the plant. And I don't even see hung. I don't even see hung. If it's hung, it's because there's one holdout. And I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I'll have a conversation with you. Because who paid your rent last month? When you leave here, are you going to the Barbados, man? Okay, we're going to keep our good eye on you for the next 5 years. Because y'all think 6 months and people stop looking. No, we're going to keep our good eye on you for the next 5 years. If anybody can get to guilty, we're going to keep our eye on you for the next 5 years. I'm checking all financial records, because there's no way. There's no way. And the thing about it, if it's hung, oh my God. Oh my God. If this jury is hung, there is no county in the world that would retry this case besides Norfolk County. If there's any tribunal in the world who would try a case 3 times, I see it being Norfolk County. Yep. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And if I was Karen Reed and they had a hung jury again, I would just pass out. I would just pass the fuck out. Because what the absolute fuck? What the abs? The thing is, I don't think you can do it 3 times. I think this case has way more publicity than it had the first time. You guys remember the first time, I had never, by the time the case was already done, I had never even heard of Karen Reed. And the case was already over. I don't think you find a jury this time who's never heard of this case. I don't think you can do it. I think you have to move counties, might even move 2 counties. And once you start getting out of Norfolk County, I think people start getting a little more common sense. So, I don't know. This case has way more publicity than it did the first time. I don't know that you find an impartial jury. I don't know. Let's check these super chats. Of course, here comes Drama Gifted 1 membership. If you got the membership, say thank you. Good morning. Make sure you like, subscribe. Yes, I forget to tell y'all that. Y'all know I'm new to the YouTube thing. Do all the YouTubey things. I forget to say it all the time. I need to put a sticky note. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ain't So Plain Jane gifted a membership. Make sure you say thank you if you got that membership. Ordinary You became a new member. Jackie gifted 5 memberships. Make sure you saying thank you. Jerry said, I love you. I love you too. Team Wicked Smarts with the 5. I pray she's acquitted and the jury says the judge is biased. The witness rudeness and lying and Hank's dirtiness pushed them to not guilty. Ooh. That would give me so much pleasure. That would give me so much pleasure if they came out and said, I could not stand Hank Brennan. I couldn't stand his tone. I hated the way he asked questions. I hated the way the judge didn't say nothing about it. I felt like she was very biased. Oh, that would make my day. That would make my day. That would make me feel so good inside. Do you hear me? That would make me feel so great inside because it's the truth. And if they've been paying attention at all, they can see it. And I want somebody to say it loud and proud with their full chest. I hate the way Hank Brennan asks questions. I hate the way he tried to impeach doctors. Like, you don't have to do it that way. And I think that judge was very biased. I hate that she never said anything to him about his comments, but always had something to say to Alan Jackson, because Alan Jackson is a way more likable person, regardless of attorney or anything. So you just, since you like him more, you notice more when you feel like he's being treated unfairly. Alessi is just a likable guy. So you notice more when he's been treated unfairly. Oh, I can't wait. I really do. I really do, Team Wicked Smart. I really hope they come out and say all of that. That would make me feel amazing. Friday is the 13th. Oh, is it? That can mean good luck or bad luck, depending on where you live, depending on where you were raised, depending on how you feel about things. It could be good luck, it could be bad luck. We're gonna go with the good luck this time. We're gonna go with the good luck this time. And court is about to start in 15 minutes. So I want to see what these jury instructions are about to look like. I hope they fight hard for that missing witness instruction. I hope they fight hard for a box that says not guilty. And I hope they fight hard for an extra instruction on what reasonable doubt is. Because you'll be surprised how many people don't understand what that means. Y'all have a good day. I am going to let you guys know what I have to do, what I have on my calendar tomorrow, because I really do want to stream the closing. We might make that a members only live. I'll let you know whether or not I can get time off from work for that. But until then, no, it's court today. It's just like motions and their closing conference. So their jury instruction conference. There's court today. There's no jury there today. But we will be there, and it starts at 10. So I will holler at you guys tomorrow. We will see what we do. I'm going to check my schedule, and we might do it. We might have a members only. So all the members, look out for that. Thank you all for being members. Thank you all for joining me every morning. Really appreciate it. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Get out of here.